Today on the Broadway Shuffle, we are joined by former Texas Tech basketball player Norense Odiase, and we announce an exciting collaboration. That and much more next on the Broadway Shuffle. Episode 56 of the Broadway Shuffle. We've got Norense Odiase joining the show here just in a little bit. But first, guys, we want to get into something very exciting that we've been working on. But before we do that, if this is your first time listening to the Broadway Shuffle, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video so you never miss an episode. We've got a ton of March Madness content coming up that you will not want to miss. We look forward to that. If you're on Spotify or Apple, make sure to give us a 5-star review and follow along there so you never miss there. And you can find all of our social medias to follow in the link below. So check us out so you never miss an episode. Okay, Z, I want to go to you quickly before Norense comes on. We've been working on something exciting with the group that we're looking forward to kind of doing some collaboration with and getting some stuff going with them. Why don't you share that news for our listeners?
Yeah, so we've been working on this for a little bit, but we're excited to announce that we are going to be collaborating with Red Raider Sports. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's definitely the largest message board community for Red Raiders. They're run by Chris Lovell, who we've had on the show. We had a lot of really productive conversations with Chris and his team, and we're really excited to be joining them on a collaborative basis. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with them in the future, both in this podcast form that you see, the video and the audio, but we'll also be doing, hopefully some written content for them in the future and kind of broadening our horizons, taking the next step. They said they were looking for 3 really smart guys and 1 idiot on a podcast, so we'll let you figure out which one's the idiot. But yeah, we're really, really excited to work with them and to be partnering with them. If you're on Red Raider Sports, you've seen me debating the merits of intricate bracketology in recent days, so I'm excited to be doing that in a more official role for them. So we're really excited about that. Conrad, I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add there.
Yeah, Red Raider Sports is great all the time, but it's especially fun during coaching searches. Hopefully we don't have any of those ever anytime soon, but that was my introduction to Red Raider Sports a few years ago when Matt Wells transitioned out of the head coaching role at Texas Tech and Coach McGuire came in. So that's always fun. But really, Red Raider Sports is a great community that if you haven't joined them, that's a great place to be. Our stuff is going to be on there. And if you're listening to this, like Zyler said, and you've listened to us, feel free to comment below. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know any thoughts, any questions you have for these three smart guys and 1 idiot. Again, we will let you figure out who the idiot is. Let us know in the comments below.
Clayton, you got any thoughts on who the idiot is, man? I don't know. I mean, it's not you, so it's got to be
definitely not me.
Yeah, it's
so.
definitely not
Clayton.
you. So, you got any thoughts? Well, Clay, what are your thoughts?
It all rotates between us. It rotates between us.
Yeah. It depends on the week. Clay, any thoughts on what we got working? I know it's exciting. You guys have been on Red Raider Sports a long time. I'm fairly new to the game, so Clay, it's kind of going to be a lot of fun for us coming up.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that Conrad says that because now that I think about it, the last 3 times I tried to get off Red Raider Sports, something bad always happens with a coaching search or something at Tech that brings me back on. So now I guess I'm stuck forever so that nothing bad will ever happen. But yeah, super excited. I feel like Zyler hit on everything important.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And our goal just as a podcast is just to be able to get as much content in front of as many people as possible and just hope you guys enjoy the show. So we're looking forward to just giving you different avenues to access what we do here on the Broadway Shuffle. And speaking of that, one thing before we get to Norense, I know he's coming up soon, our subscriber of the week, Guitar Shredder of Texas Tech. This guy is commenting on every episode.
What a username.
Dude, best username we've got on this show. He comments a lot. I know he listens a ton. I honestly don't even know his real name. I think it's probably on
Guitar Shredder, dude. It's
yeah,
Guitar Shredder.
Yeah, I think it's Tim, actually. But he even commented, he listened to the episode of just Conrad and Zyler. It was like, who needs those other guys anyways? And I was really offended. And he made sure to tell me that I was still his favorite. So he's our subscriber of the day. And again, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so we can continue to grow our show. And you might even get a shout out here on the Broadway Shuffle. So, all right, let's get right into the interview with Norense. All right, now joining the Broadway Shuffle, Texas Tech basketball legend, member of the 2019 Final Four team, Norense Odiase. Norense, it's good to see you, man. Can't believe it's been 6 years since you were a part of that Final Four team. So before we get into all the questions surrounding your career at Texas Tech and that Final Four team, and maybe some about this year's team as well and your thoughts there. Why don't you let all of us know, what have you been up to the last 6 years, man? I can't believe it's been that long. You look great, by the way. You look like, outside of maybe a different hairdo, it looks like you're still ready to ball out, man. So good to hear from you. Thanks for being on, and tell us what's been going on in your life.
Boys, how we doing? I'm actually laughing because you asked about the last 6 years. I should tell them about the last 2 seconds, 2 to 3 minutes, where we've been trying to buffer. This is round 2. But what's up again?
Come on,
The
man.
last 6 years, bro. I said it on the first take. I'll say it again. It seems like it was yesterday. Like, you can imagine, like, everybody. I talked to a lot of people about 2019 and being in Minneapolis, and it's a football stadium and you play, and that's where it was, and that's where we left out. We made it to the final Monday. It's crazy because after the fact you live it out. Like, I didn't even on there. I'm Rambo, by the way. I'm ADD, whatever. And so, like, I wasn't locked. I wasn't smelling the roses. I was locked in. Like, I was too focused, I feel like. And so now when everybody tells me, "Oh, we had this celebration and we drove here," I'm like, all right, do you have to rub it in? Because I didn't enjoy the situation.
Sure.
I was tunnel vision. And so it's cool to kind of see our program on the rise from now. But for my stuff, like you asked, thank you for asking. One, I'm big on content creation. I do a lot of mental health talks with universities or organizations. I've worked a corporate job with Amazon, selling sales across the globe, played in the G League. And really right now I'm focused on building my platform, Mind Bully. At first it was a podcast focused on overcoming the negative voice. I have high performers come on, whether it's in sports, in corporate world, and business, talk about their stories, because I know that there's a behind the athlete story, there's a behind the entrepreneur story, there's a behind the guys with the greatest podcast out story right here, behind mine or on par with mine, same thing. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. But no, like there's a story we all have, man, and I'm passionate about unveiling those stories and being able to create safe spaces, whether it's in person or online, to share life with anybody. And these past 2 years, I've been able to partner with Texas Tech and do my live show during the football season. So I'll fly in before every game and I'll do a show about mental health and do it right there on the green, not on the green space, but on Red Raider Alley right before the football games. So
That's
it's
awesome.
important. I'm passionate about it, but all in short or in long, however that was, that's what I've been up to, man. I'm grateful to be here, man.
Norris, that's awesome. And man, the background looks like you're at a basketball facility, man. Where are you right now?
Some would say I'm in a basketball facility that some might notice, and if I go too far, right, the connection might drop, so I won't go too far. But if I take a little left, you'll see some familiar faces. This guy just won a dunk contest. This guy he got drafted. This guy, you probably know who that is. This guy, we probably know who that is. This guy, I think he's the best player I've ever played with. This guy, and yeah, there's me. So yeah, it looks like the Texas Tech Red Raiders basketball facility. That's where
Very
I'm
cool.
at, man.
That's
Very
awesome,
cool.
man. And if you're not watching, Z, he showed a bunch of studs from Texas Tech's previous, now all in NBA uniforms, which is great to see. So, Z, go ahead.
Very cool. Well, Norris, we're super interested in both you personally, but also you as a Tech athlete. And you kind of arrived at Texas Tech under the Tubby Smith regime. You played at North Crowley, if I remember correctly. Talk about, Tubby and your process at arriving at Tech. What was that like? And kind of speak to, because there really wasn't a ton of eyeballs on Tech basketball back then. What was that like getting recruited and ultimately arriving at Tech with Tubby?
Man, you are right on that. There was not a lot of eyeballs. And what I would say is with Tubby it was interesting. For me, my journey to Texas Tech was different than most. Most people, you get a bunch of offers and then you pick a school and then you go to Texas Tech. But for me, mine was I graduated from a high school in Fort Worth, Texas, North Crowley High School in 2013. But then when I look up, I remember that, hey, I didn't have the stats that I wanted. I went to our guard school traditionally, and so the offense was not focused on me. And so I was like, I know I'm a better player than this, and the offers that I have. I went to a prep school in Miami, well, in Delray Beach, Florida, called Elevate. And long story short, I remember I was about a month less than a month, less than a month out from signing day, and I had no offers. I'm sitting there with a player, with one of my good friends, Steven Spurlock, and he went over there for a post-grad year as well. And we're sitting in his dorm room almost, because it was almost like a all-boys post-grad school, where the idea is, hey, we'll get all you people. Y'all are going to pay. Thank God I ain't pay. Y'all are going to pay to come to the school, and we're going to get you the schools that you want. Well, days up to signing day, I didn't have none of that. And so we're sitting there, and I remember we almost had like a heart-to-heart because we were upset. We were like, why did we come here? Long story short, remember, like, above us was this room. And in this room, there's tapes. It's called highlight tapes. It's called our film. And so Stephen had the idea to, why don't we go upstairs, take the film, come down, work all night, and create highlight tapes to send to colleges. And I was like, I don't care. Okay, cool. Like, we didn't have nothing else to lose. So went upstairs, pulled the tapes, got down, and worked all night to like cut up clips. I have me diving on the floor, doing like odd clips that won't be in any highlight today. Like, I did that on our clips. And so literally we looked at schools and high major conferences, and we looked at what they needed. Like, we looked at the stats, we looked at positions, we looked at the assistant coaches, and we just sent emails, sent emails, sent emails. And it was crazy because hours later, I'm getting pinged from all across the country. We're going crazy. Like, this is working. Like, this is lit. This is lit. And it's funny because I love thinking about this story because it's a message to me, even in this moment, and anybody listening. It's like, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, there's non-negotiables. Like, you don't have to fold for what people say. There's so many, like the little coach that was my coach. He was like, go to Old Dominion, because he had a tie with somebody at Old Dominion. I'm like, I'm not going there. I didn't come here to go to Old Dominion. And so, long story short, I send an email to all these colleges. I get back, I get word from Tech, obviously. And bro, literally, like, within the week, Tubby Smith himself was in our gym.
Wow.
And our coach was like, oh, look what we did. We told you your work is going to pay off. We said, shut up. We did that. Shut up. Like, boy, you shut up. We did that. And long story short, Tubby, that's how he was from day one. He was hands-on. He was the one that came out to me. He was the one recruiting me. He was really, I saw him as like kind of a father figure, principal kind of guy. And it was awesome. Me, Keenan Evans, Justin Gray, Zach Smith, and Isaiah Manderson. We were like the Fab Five group that came in as freshmen, and we really had a vision to really change the program. I'd say this all the time because that's what it was. We were guys that were focused and all kind of underdogs from our own realm. I believe I was really the underdog, but we definitely had an edge to kind of change it, and I'm glad to see what the program became.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you mentioned that freshman class. Obviously, in y'all's first year, that's a young team, so that's difficult. But then 2016, you guys improved a lot, made the tournament, which I think was the first time in almost 10 years for Tech. What was that season like? Just talk a little bit about that.
Sick, man. Like, it was amazing. Like, and it was great to see because guys like a Todrick Gocher and he was on our team, and he was kind of our vet, but like, me and Todrick, we go back and forth. He's hilarious. But it was cool because we came in as freshmen and we didn't do much, right? And I remember I was literally just telling a story to one of our guys. I think I was talking to Beckett and somebody else just now, as I gave Beckett buckets earlier. Gave him buckets. Coach McCaslin's younger son gave him buckets. But we were talking about how we came in freshman year, and yeah, let's say the fans and everybody were supposed to lose to this team. OU, I remember it like it was yesterday. We lost, and I got in the locker room, and I'm banging stuff. I'm crying. I'm pissed off. And it was almost a sign of what us as a unit knew that we could accomplish. It was just a matter of time. And so we go in our sophomore year, and we're kind of clicking, and we got guys coming in, and it was awesome to just see us go to the tournament and win big games at home, and get and I actually got hurt that year,
Yeah.
but I got hurt, came back, and we lost to a Butler in March Madness. But it was awesome to see kind of how the city and how everybody changed viewpoint so quickly on what we were able to accomplish. And so I'm always proud of that team and that the drive that we had. But it's interesting looking back. Those kind of moments go unnoticed, but it was huge and it was formative in how the program is right
Yeah.
now. Those moments
Mhm.
to switch like that and to grind and to get it to where it is. So no, it's cool thinking about that, and I'm grateful for those moments too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Norense, you talked about moments that get a program to where it is today. Specifically, we've seen some coaching changes. You were obviously there for Tubby leaving. Talk me through that process. What did that look like for you guys? What was the initial reaction when that happened? What was everyone's thoughts and opinions when all that took place?
Bro, we were in the weight room, and we were in the weight room at the USA literally before he left. And obviously, we're sophomores in college, probably 18, 19. We got Twitters, we got phones, and we're online. And online, we're seeing all the news break and all the rumors. Oh, Tubby to Memphis, this to Memphis. And literally, we had a workout. And so I'm going to talk. I'm going to ask. I don't care. And so that day, he was in there. I said, Coach, you leaving us? I literally asked Tubby.
Wow.
I said, you gone? He said, he didn't say no. He said, like he laughed. He was like, he brushed it off. He's like, oh man, it's because of our success is why these are even coming up. Something like that. He brushed it off. And that was the last time we saw him. He was gone.
Wow. Okay.
Literally, he was gone. And so it's funny because that happened, and then I can remember I'm talking to Kirby Hocutt, and we have the team in kind of our locker room, and he's giving us the rundown of, oh, well, Tubby chose to leave. We're in for a new coach, and then fast forward in the midst of a week or so, we're all front row at a press conference welcoming Chris Beard. And so it's just crazy how those things happen. I remember asking Todrick, because Todrick was on the staff when Chris Beard was a assistant, and Todrick was like, "Nah, Beard is great. Beard is dope. All this stuff." And so we were all it was just a weird time, and there was noise saying, "Oh, this guy's gonna leave." Talking about like our core group of Zach, Justin, me, and Keenan. This guy might leave. This guy might leave. And we all lived to each other, and we were like, "Bro, what you on? What you on?" We were like, "Nah, we're staying. We're staying." And so it was like a uncertain, insecure time. But luckily, again, it was the foundation. We were rooted and we were really close, and I'm so glad that we were able to keep it together.
Norense, you talk about, Chris Beard entering, and that's, obviously a very, controversial, but kind of a love, he built Tech, after Tubby. He kind of launched off of that foundation. Talk to me about those first initial introductions. Everybody sees, the fireside chats, they see all of that stuff, but what was he like as a coach, and kind of what were your first impressions of him when y'all first met?
First impressions, for me, everybody was like, "Okay, we can see." I know we butted heads. We butted heads because my personality is kind of like that, like and type A, for lack of better words. But I'm a kid where, again, Tubby he flew his whoever plane to come and see me play in a hot gym in Boca Raton, Delray Beach, both times. Like, Tubby did that. And so when he left, and we used to be at Tubby and Donna house on Sundays, eating good, feeling at home, like that was like a dad figure, and like for me. And so when he left, and we have this guy come in who's like real after it. He's aggressive and he's talking. He's
Sure.
saying, "We're going to do this, this, this." I'm like, "Hey, bro, hold on, man. Hold on." Like, this is totally different from what I knew. And so there was some friction there. And then you go from a personal standpoint where I was getting the ball, like he was feeding the post. He was screaming at Keenan to throw it like this, go to the back. Like,
Yeah.
that was an emphasis. That's a big reason why I came. It was like, bro, so you telling me I got to run a motion offense where I'm not going to touch it? I'm not going to taste the ball? Like, I'm not going to touch it at all? And so it's like, it was so challenging. And me and Justin Gray, we always laugh about it now, but we were like, we sacrificed the most. Keenan was like, yeah, I was coming off the bench with Tubby, but now I'm here. I'm here. It's time. And so it falls back on just the relationship and the foundation, one that we have with the city, with ourselves, with the mission and the goal that we had. And the one thing about Beard that I respected from day one is he talked about championships from day one. He didn't talk, he didn't mince words. He came in with a vision, a goal, and a sight. Like he didn't mince at all. I'm here to win a championship. And that's something I always respected. And it's funny because I had just came off breaking my left foot, and I came back for the tournament, but I wasn't the player I wanted to be. And then, like one of the first practices with Beard, boom, I break my other foot. Same place, fourth
Oh,
metatarsal, right foot, fourth metatarsal, left foot, like broken just as I'm coming back from rehab. And so I'm like, one, I blame UA, which they're Adidas now. Thank God. Because everybody had foot issues. They never had foot issues in high school. I blame Under Armour. Anyways, but that year I was able to one kind of build and become more of a leader. Tubby used to pump that in my head, and some of his guys like a Zoe, he's like you're the leader of this team. Like these guys gravitate to you, these type of things. But I believe when Beard came, he really that year, that sit out year for me was extremely pivotal in my development as a leader because, I mean, I read all these books that he gave me, but I was able to see the court and the game and the players from a different lens. I was able to make mistakes, and where it's like at first I had relationships with my guys like core group, but with the whole team it was challenging, and so it was almost like, oh, this guy's like another coach, and we don't need that. We need a player that is respected, obviously. And so there was some friction. I remember this moment. This is a story I don't think I told before, but I'll tell it. A player, a Shadell Millinghouse. I'll just say his name.
oh yeah, I
He
remember
came in.
Shadell.
Yeah.
He came in late for a practice, and I was pissed. Like I was hot, but nobody else. I'm gonna say something. So he came in, and he was just like kind of smiling. He just acting like something new. And I just pressed him. And I can't remember how it happened, but like some punches were thrown, hands were swung. And I just remember being pissed off at the end. I'll just say this because freaking Aaron Ross was holding me back when Shadell's still swinging. I'm like, bro, get out the way. Let me get my ones. If he's gonna swing, get off of me. He's like, bro, you too big to be like. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'm telling that story as a zoom in at how I was groomed and the maturation process of a leader. It's like being able to communicate with guys and influence without the authority of do this and do this is about the
Sure.
relationships built and the next year I was able to run with that. So it was interesting when Tubby left and Chris Beard came in, but I always appreciated the determination and the vision, and he inspires me every day. We talk all the time about just how he sees the world because I you seldom find guys like that. So
That's really, speaking of leadership and, practice stories, one of my good and dear friends to this day is Avery Benson. And Avery had so many stories about, Coach Beard and how, I mean, the stories he would tell about practice, I was like, man, if that gets out, like that might be a serious problem for the program.
yeah,
But man, talk about Avery a little bit. Tell a good story on Avery. He's one of my good friends to this day. We've had him on the show. What was Avery like as a teammate? Give me something funny on Avery.
but this is the thing. Like Avery, he's just a down home, rugged, ready to do whatever it takes kind of dude. He's a roll your sleeves up kind of dude. He's just Avery, and it's hard because this is something they gave us. You guys sent over prepared questions. I said I'd never look at prepared questions. I think it should be organic. But I wish I had a prepared question for this one because there's so many Avery stories. But right now I'm blanking on it. But just Avery he's almost the epitome of Chris Beard. He's just like a rugged, down home dude. And I always respected him because he was a walk on, but he didn't look at himself as a walk on. He was competitive. He didn't take like I have a lot of problems watching a lot of teams. and sometimes ours, with guys that are here, let's say they're walk-ons or anything, and they don't just see themselves higher than that. Avery didn't see himself as a walk-on. He didn't care. He has that dog, and so I always appreciated that about Avery. There's so many stories about like the redneck, but I'm to since I'm blanking on that, I'll just say I always like a grimy, gritty, do whatever it takes to hold catching a lob during the Baylor game. Everybody
Oh
knows,
yeah.
but I just love that about him.
Yeah, Norense, it's interesting because Avery was obviously a big part, though maybe not on the floor, but a big part of the team's success in 2018 and 2019. Talk a little bit about 2018 specifically. I mean, this is kind of the year that really put Texas Tech on the map. Keenan Evans, obviously, but he goes down with an injury. Talk about how that affected the team overall and the 2018 team. I mean, making it to the Elite Eight, losing to Villanova. Talk a little bit about that year before we get into the Final Four year.
Yeah, Keenan's like my best friend to this day, and he was my roommate during all those times. And it was interesting, like this weekend, a couple days ago, we played Houston, lost at home. Texas Tech boys went down, but I was sitting by an Andrew Soros, who's also my best friend, and we talked about who's the best player, like here on Tech history. For me, I believe it's Keenan. Keenan used to get 30 points off like 12 shots, like something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend. He's been there. And I after the games, I'm like, bro, you kind of cold. Like, what the heck? He's kind of good. This is crazy. Like, no, like, picture me coming in. This guy's on the bench, and he's just like killing, like every single game. I'm like, okay, this is different. Still to this day, I've never seen that. And so you have that team, and you have I think Big Tommy was on that team, and you have a Zach Smith, you have a Zaire, you have a young Jarrett, and Naeem. You have all these guys on that team, and I still to this day like that was a more talented team than our Final Four run. We just ran into the best college team probably in the last couple of years. Like we had pros, and so you just see from the foundation that was built. Yeah, Beard, thank God I didn't play the first year he came in. I was hurt, and I got to be on the Final Four team. But you see, kind of the first year he laid the foundation. The second year we were already locked in, ready to go, and we had high expectations to do things that this school has never seen, and we accomplished so much. And for me, in my shoes, I'd already sacrificed being an emotion offense, playing way less minutes, not being a guy that gets the ball. Now coming off a second injury. During that stage, I went from 300 pounds to 240, changing my game,
Wow.
but also changing my role on the team. And so you have that year coming in. I'm taking a lesser role. And it was interesting for me. Obviously, we play to that point, and we play at Villanova. We lose. I know the question is about Keenan, but it's interesting because that question just gets me to think about my own journey during that. I again, like I said, played the lesser role. And when those guys leave, Keenan's going to the draft, Zach, all these guys are leaving. It goes back to my freshman year. I'm like, bro, I came in with a Fab Four at Justin Gray, Zach Smith, Keenan Evans. They're gone. It's just me. It's me with an offense that doesn't suit me. It's me with a coach that's not going to give me the ball. And so it's just like, it was a wrestle, to be honest. It was a wrestle between, okay, I want to win. I want to win here. I love this city. I love this school. I love what we're building. But now it's like a new regime coming in. It's really standing 10 toes in the foundation that we built, and saying yes to the growth, and pairing with Beard, really being locked in with Beard on the mission that we had ahead.
Yeah.
Luckily we got guys in, and we were able to go to the Final Four. But again, on that year with Keenan, watching him being my roommate, I remember Chris Williams was actually one of my best friends, one of our best friends. He was our trainer. And after every game, he would come in there and he'd be hours with Keenan's toe, giving massages while we're making jokes like, get out of here. Like in odd hotel rooms. Like there were so many unseen times in that Keenan worked to try to get back to that point. But what it did for our team is it honestly it got us it gave us an extra edge to keep going because we know our brother is down. But it did hurt, like not seeing him be able to kill and play like he did. Literally, if people don't know, this man, he would be like a one player first half, or a totally different player the second half. He would get like a shot in the
Yeah.
second half and be hooping. And it was a conversation I would be seeing the night before of, okay, like when we want the best Keenan because this toe's gonna act up. Oh, let's do the second half, duh. And so it was like, okay, we need to be close for our brother first half, and then boom, Keenan would go into Keenan mode. It was so interesting, and I learned so much about our team and about just leadership and how to get guys going when everything is in disarray. But man, a lot of credit to him and a lot of credit to that team.
Yeah. Expand a little bit on like how the game changes in March Madness, especially for fans who like may not have an inside look. Especially to me, it seems like that second game of like the weekend when it's just a day and a half later, that seems extremely tough to like prepare for that other team. So just, I guess, go into a little detail on what all goes into that.
Yeah, it gets tight. It gets tight, and there's not a lot of preparation. You might go up against a team that you know a lot about, or you might go up a team that you have no clue about, and your coaches and your staff is up all night in big ballrooms trying to watch all the film that they can and ask, "Oh, I know a coach over there that played them, might have, and they might have something." Like you're reaching out on the coaches on the staff side to get as much as you can about this team, about specific players, specific matchups, and you're just building a framework on how to address, okay, this game with our players, how to go and attack this team. Luckily for us, which is personally, if I was a coach, I would frame it like this: the defense matters, and if you have a dogged defense like a Houston, they came out and they blitzed all of our ball screens and they sent two to the post. Like if you have I don't care what y'all do, we gonna be aggressive. We had an aggressive kind of side defense that it don't matter who you played. You ain't never played this, so it's gonna be different. That's what wins in March. I've seen, and it works. Like you can have a team that scores well and hits all these shots and all these things, but if you have a difference and you have a lot of length and a lot of something they can't even prepare for, you can get all the GAs, managers you want, 7-footers. It's not Tech's defense at that time. It's a different. It poses a different challenge for another team. But really, again, like come March, you're trying to get a framework for, okay, is this kind of like a team? Let's say, is this like an Iowa State that we played in conference, or is this like a Houston? You're trying to mentally
Yeah.
put them in a box to where it's easily you can address it to your players quickly because you don't have a lot of turnaround to really like, okay, go into everything. And so you just fall into the mode of your foundation of your principles. And so it's definitely different. It's definitely different. That's why you see all the best teams, the great teams, most talented teams, they're out first week because there's teams that one get hot that they've never seen before, their actions they never run. Now
Sure.
it's halftime, it's tied, and you're on catch up mode. And so that's why it's a beautiful thing to be able to have a coach and guys that are putting themselves in position to get a good seed. Seeding is everything to win in March. So
That 2019 team, I think a lot of people thought it would be special. There was that loss to Duke, but I remember something in one of the press conferences that Beard mentioned. And he said after y'all lost in Lawrence in 2019, you gave the team some sort of speech, and he said from that moment on, the season changed. That was never elaborated on. So we've got you on the spot now, man. Like what happened in that Kansas post game that led to that team ending up in the national championship?
yeah, as what is this, like 30 minutes in? As you can see, I talk a lot. And so half the things I said in this thing, I can't remember what I said. But I think that year, bro, like, I don't know, I just saw, again, we had nothing to lose. And I saw a team that was hungry and a team that, was so close, was so tight knit. And I knew that we had more. I remember we played at Duke in Madison Square Garden and we lost. We were up the whole game. We lost. We turned the ball over too many times. And this was a team where we played Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, the team that they were saying they can beat the Cavaliers. And so, like, I remember after the game, well, right before the game ended, I'm standing on the baseline, just kind of getting pissed because there's Duke fans screaming right there in my ear, like, and everything we had an opportunity to on a major stage to stamp our flag and be like, this is Texas Tech on a big stage. I don't care who you are, we did this. And so walking back down the tunnel and getting to the locker room, I just lost it. I'm just like, I'm going off. I think I don't I don't. There's choice words that I said for sure. I just going off on everybody. And then Beard literally comes in. He sees, okay, I kind of have it taken care of. We just break it out. We leave. We come back. We literally come back from Christmas break and we're running the first practice. Like, it was tiring. It's like, bro, we just ate like Christmas food and like it was crazy. And so going on, long story short, even to that Kansas loss, I think it. There's so many times, and honestly, I can't remember exactly what I said, but there's so many times I was really adamant. I was really adamant on how good we were as a team, how close we were, and it's about the excellence every single day, and it's about not making the mistakes and not hurting ourselves. And I definitely had a lot to say. Even when we went to March Madness, we play Michigan State. And I talked about this, I think some with this already. Like, I was on edge and I didn't enjoy the time. I didn't smell the roses. Like, Chris Beard was big on smell the roses, enjoy the time so that when the game comes, you're locked in and it doesn't overwhelm you.
Sure.
But before the March Madness game against Michigan State, I remember we were walking through, and when you're in Minneapolis, you got to understand this place is like a circus. It's like Super Bowl weekend. There's people
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
There's fans, everybody. And it's Auburn, Michigan, us, and Virginia. And we had our own hotel, and we're walking through, I think, like some of the activations and all this stuff. And there's all these fans. We go through the mall. We go up the escalator, and yeah, Texas Tech, Texas Tech. And in my mind, I'm like, wait, we haven't won anything yet. Like, and so I was growing pissed. I literally was growing pissed because we were big. Like, I was big on, like, one of those games. I was like, nope, take the cell phones after a certain time, 8 p.m. Because, bro, that stuff is poison, bro. Like, it's still poison now. Like, oh, you guys are great. Like, no. And so we were experiencing that real time, and it was almost in myself. It was like one natural mind would be like, dang, we won, we here. Like, hell
Sure.
no. And so I remember going up the escalator, and Beard, we were going to like an ice cream shop or something. And I was telling Daryl, one of our GAs, I was like, "What are we doing? I'm getting mad. Like, I gotta say something. I'm getting mad. I'm like, I don't want no sherbet. Like, what the hell am I drinking? I've not ate sherbet a day before we're about to play a game like this ever. So why the hell are we over here eating sherbet?" Like, I was pissed. I was mad at Beard. I was mad at the ice cream shop. I was mad at the whole situation. And so literally half the team, most of the team were over there getting sherbet and ice cream and talking and chilling. I'm just literally like looking down at all the people and just like fuming, just pissed. So we make it back to the ballroom, and it was the like we were the last of the little talks of, okay, get sleep or whatever. I say, nah, hold on, coach. Hold on. Why the hell were we just eating sherbet? I was just like, we better be locked in. We've never done this. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't know whose job it is, but basically the idea was like to be focused, to be locked in on what is at hand. And then Beard, like, I went off and I was like pointing it to him and everybody. And Beard was like, he literally was like, well, we got our leader upset. We're good. And then he broke it off. And I was just like, what? Long story short, that is how the mentality was. And I can't even remember the question, but even like thinking about it, it's just crazy. But that is how, like, the attention to detail and focus we all had to make it to that point that year.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing
Yeah,
that.
Norense, that was obviously a great year. Didn't end the way we wanted it to, but wanted to end the show here with some rapid fire questions for you, and just see what you think. Pretty straightforward questions. I'm interested to hear what you have to say for all of them. But favorite memory from your first time or from your time at Tech? Favorite
cutting
memory?
down. I remember, I don't know what game it was, but we were cutting down the nets, and it was like a vision that we had freshman year of winning the Big 12. We had won what, like 3 games our freshman year, and now we're cutting down nets and we're winning the Big 12. It's amazing, and it was just a testament to the guys that in a core group that left, but now I'm a part of that core group, still there, standing on the top of the ladder, cutting down the nets. It's amazing. So that was definitely like one of the best moments, because it was just a reminder to me and just a testament to hard work, dedication, and bro, there was a lot of moments and a lot of doubts, but it's about going forward past the doubt, and so I was grateful for that moment.
You hit the biggest free throws in Texas Tech history. Talk about that pressure.
Hey, I'm long-winded on my answers, so I'll try to keep this short. But yeah, honestly, I didn't feel anything in that moment, and it was due to a tough season that I had. We talked about the highs and getting to the Final Four, but um, on February 15th we played Baylor, the week of Baylor, and I lost 2 family members in a car crash that came to watch me play. And I'm saying that because at that moment, Andrew Soros tells me this all the time. He's like, when you were making those free throws, it was like destiny. It was like your cousins, like he thought, okay, this is the moment. This is what's gonna happen. And I say I didn't feel anything because I was kind of numb. I literally didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my life. I didn't care about like anything. I was just so focused. And maybe there's a good thought. Like maybe this is why I didn't smell the roses, because I was so focused on trying to achieve because of what happened. And I say that to say it's like you can be at the highest moment from the outside, external, and the fans and everything, but inside you're like sinking in silence. And that's why in this time of my life, I'm grateful to be able to pay it forward and speak to whether it's athletes, whether it's people on life, because we all project how we think everybody wants us to be, but that's not real life. And so in those moments, there wasn't really pressure, but I know that if I can use my story to amplify the real stories behind and to again uplift the name of Jesus, because I'm a follower. It's everything, and so no, those moments were cool. And it would have been nice that after seconds after I drained two for us to foul them maybe or guard the 3-point line. That would have been nice. It would have been a different conversation right now. But no, I'm glad that I was kind of locked in then. So.
Man, that's awesome. This is kind of be the last question we have, and we can wrap up tonight. Talk a little bit about this team, this current 2025 team. What do you see? What do you like? What do you think about McCaslin?
Yeah, I like this team. I like them a lot because their character and who they are as people. We just saw Kerwin Walton and his dad getting up shots and training. Hopefully the balls stop bouncing and squeaking. It's too late to record in there, but anyways, um, I like I like them because they're good guys. One, I like them because nowadays their offense is free. We play defense, but they run the offense that's fun to watch. And two, I like them because of the foundation in the program, and McCaslin has them playing hard, and he won't let them slack off, and he kind of sets the tone early. And I'm glad that he got a lender on staff this year after he lost a great coach in Dave Smart. But no, I'm proud of the fight. I'm proud of the grit and the toughness. The Houston game early at Houston was a telltale for me. It was that's what we have inside. I believe last year I was upset a lot of times. Even some people say, "Oh, we made it to the tournament." We like. I believe that team honestly left a lot on the table. There's a lot of from a skill standpoint we could have capitalized on. It's when I watch the team, it's the mentality and it's the little stuff that I watch. But I'm happy about this team, and we got guys that are killers, like a young guy like a Christian Anderson, who's my favorite player. We got a Chance McMillan that does everything right, and he's about the team. He's about the team. He's about the team. And we got a JT, who's a killer. He's a great dude. He's a great guy off the court. I talked to him for like an hour yesterday, and so just we got guys that are hungry and they want to win. Um, the thing about it is they don't know how to win, even though we've won to this point. I was talking about somebody else today. There's another level. It doesn't matter in the regular season. There's another level. I mean, I've been on teams where March Madness, Sweet 16 twice, and so you can there's another level. Even if you won all these games in the regular, there's another level to get to intensity, focus, mindset wise. I believe these guys are going through as we just lost against the Houston. We had 6 guys. It's so interesting to see how they turn it, and your character really shows in moments like this. So I'm excited to see him, but I definitely know that we have the talent to do it. Top 10 team. I've been pleased to watch us play so far, and I just want us to close this regular season out strong to make a big run in March. So man, I'm excited, and I love where the program's headed.
Yeah, Norense, hopefully this team finds a way to just win one more game than that 2019 team. They really only need like 5 more seconds really to, find a way to be national champions than y'all did. But it's, just want to credit you, man. It's guys like you that build a foundation for this program that make what Texas Tech basketball really is. You've mentioned Justin Gray and Gocher and Keenan and all these guys that have really shaped why you're sitting in a facility you're sitting in at the Womble, and why this team is on national stages and the crowds that we get to the Houston games and the Kansas game. And we're just so thankful to be a part of that journey with you, man. We were all at school when you were there. We were all part of the Elite Eight and Final Four runs. Z and I were both in Minnesota watching you in 2019. So just such a blessing to talk to you. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our university. And thank you for taking time to be a part of the show. And we hope to see you at the Final Four this year as well, rooting on our Red Raiders. So just want to say thanks, Norense, and you're welcome anytime on the Broadway Shuffle.
Sweet, man. Love, like this is awesome. I think this is what our community is about. You guys are building up and amplifying the brand, which is important, especially in this time with like NIL and conference realignment. There's so many ways that Texas Tech and the athletic department can be amplified through unique and creative content like this. It does more than you guys even think it does. Some people may listen to this and be like, "Oh, this is just a podcast," but no, this is crafting and helping us as a brand. So I would encourage you guys to keep going, because there's so much more that you can do with what you guys are doing. As you're encouraged and you're passionate about what you're doing, it draws people towards it. Like 2 days ago, I can't remember her name. There's a girl. She said, "Aren't you going to be on the Broadway Shuffle?" I was like, "Wow, the Broadway Shuffle! Y'all got people out here, literally." And I'm like, I've been on a lot of podcasts. I maybe got that one time, and she was excited. She was like, "I can't wait to listen." I was like, "That's really cool. That's really cool. Kudos to y'all for building up a name." And it's about like whatever you do, it's like you expect it to be great, wildly successful.
Mhm.
And so like that's awesome that you're doing this. So and I would and keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. And shout out to Holland Hadaway. I believe that was a girl because she had texted me and said, I talked to
Yeah,
Norense.
shout out to
Yeah.
her.
So,
Shout out to her.
so we just want to thank Holland as well. But man, appreciate you so much. We'll see you next time. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday to review the Kansas win, hopefully. So see you next time on the Broadway Shuffle and Reckham Tech.